everyone, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about how I O2, which is mainly going to be how I get and use my oxygen. I have so much other stuff that I wanted to get to, like travel, because I'm doing so much of it this month. But before I get to travel, I think it's important that I cover how I get my oxygen so that when I start talking about travel, you guys will already know, how I get around with my oxygen and what I use. So I'm going to start there. And I also just want to note that I'm going to cover oxygen again because I've learned so much about it since I've been on it. So right now I'm just going to talk about how I use it and what different methods I use to get my oxygen. And then one day I'll come back and talk about how I made my choices for, what I saw as the differences between concentrators and the oxygen and the way they provide it and that stuff. But today I'm just going to mainly share with you how I use and get my O2. So I probably do it in more different ways than just about anybody I've met, and I'm probably pickier about it as well than just about anybody I've met. And that is, I found that all oxygen is not created equal, which you've probably already figured out, which is why room air is not good enough for some of us anymore, is because all oxygen is not created equal. So in other words, room air is only about 21% oxygen, whereas with the concentrators, we're usually getting about 87 to 98 or 99% oxygen, depending on which one you're using. So for home, I use probably the same standard type concentrator that most people use, the big brown one. I think it's by Ivocare, and it's provided by our insurance. And so that's the one that I'm hooked up to most of the time when I'm at the house, and I have a long hose that, goes upstairs and downstairs. I keep my concentrator upstairs, and my hose goes upstairs and downstairs. It cannot go to our lowest level, however, though. So if I'm down there, I'm usually exercising and also using a different method of oxygen. So when I'm doing nothing or not much, I'm hooked up to the regular one. The big one that the insurance provides, which is my least favorite. I also think it has the lowest concentration of oxygen of all the concentrators that I use. So I do not do a lot of activities when I'm hooked up to that one. My favorite choice of oxygen is what comes from the tanks. And I believe it's my favorite because it's the purest. So when I'm hooked up to the tanks, that's when I feel the best as far as with my O2 and my ability to exercise and do things without getting short of breath. I would say that provides me the best, but at the same time it's also one of the most inconvenient ways as far as getting out and exercising. So if I'm home and exercising, it's fine. But for getting out and exercising, I don't like to drag it around with me. So I use the big tank for when I'm downstairs, maybe doing laundry and dishes and cleaning and vacuuming, or if I'm out in the pool. It's easy for me to get outside but in my backyard, and or easy for me to set up by my front door if I'm doing any gardening or anything like that, and I can put a long hose on it and get where I need to get. So I use the tanks for any type of activity around the house. I also take a small tank when I go to the barn, and I use that one because it's quiet around the horses. So when I'm actually in the stalls brushing and caring for the horses, I use the small tank because it gives me a good source of oxygen and it's quiet and I can have a long hose. So then I also have another home concentrator that I purchased myself. It's an Inogen 100, And that one I use on a daily basis upstairs for like when I'm getting ready in the morning, because it has a higher concentration level and I don't have to drag a tank upstairs. So I'll switch to that one in the morning when after I get up. I'll switch my hose over to that one and use it while I shower and get ready and everything, get dressed, you know, make my bed and all that stuff. And I do that so that it's getting used on a daily basis, because for the concentrators, the best thing is for them to be used. So that one gets used every day for a short period of time, but it's mainly was purchased so that when I went on trips, I had a concentrator that would fit in a carry-on type suitcase. So in other words, the rolling suitcases that you can actually take on board on planes with you. It will fit in that type of suitcase, and it's only 18 pounds, so it's not too heavy to drag along. So I use that one for that type of stuff, where if we go out of town here and we're driving, I'll pack that one up as our in-room concentrator for the hotel. It does not run on batteries. It has to be plugged in, so it's of no use for while you're traveling, only once you get where you're going. So I have that one that I use, and then the one that I use the most as far as when I'm going places is the Inogen 1.3, and it's the small portable, and it's the one that I use absolutely the most. So if I go for a walk in my neighborhood or anywhere, shopping, anything, this is the one that I take. And I've had it now since 2015, and it is an absolute favorite because it works so well, and I think the concentration is high of oxygen. It is a pulse dose, so it's not a continuous flow, which may be a factor for some people, but I find that it works really well for me. So I use that whenever we're out shopping, when we go to dinner or anything, and I find that way I don't have to worry about running out of oxygen. Two, if we're in and out of different stores all day and in and out of the car doing different things, I can plug it into the car and not even end up having to change the battery at all during the day a lot of times. I do have extra batteries, so total I think I have 3 8-hour batteries and 1 4-hour battery. So when we go to Disneyland and different places where we're gone all day, I can be gone from 10 in the morning till midnight and never even worry about it. I mean, it's just great. And as far as carrying it, most of the time, if I'm out and shopping and stuff, I carry it with purses, leather purses that I find that are well ventilated, and it allows it to breathe. And I am gonna go through another video on just my bags. I have quite a few of them. I'm always looking for them, and I'll share with you what I look for when searching for bags. I do also have a mesh backpack type bag that I use for when we're doing, you know, walking or, you know, hiking or different things. That it's like a backpack, but it's mesh, so it holds it and is ventilated and allows it to breathe. So those are the different ways that I get my oxygen. I'm on it all the time. Usually 2 liters at night and at rest, or when I'm not doing much, and then 3 liters continuous if I'm doing laundry or different things around the house, and 4 on the pulse dose if I'm, you know, exercising and stuff. And it should also be noted that pulse is not the same as liters, so if you're looking for concentrators, you shouldn't judge the pulse dose by the number, because it's not the same as liter. But again, I'll get into that when we do more. I'll do another video, all things oxygen, and then we'll talk more about that kind of stuff. But for right now, I just wanted to share with you how I get all my different sources of oxygen and what I use them for. Just so that when I do the next video, which is going to be on travel, And that'll go in parts actually, because I'm gonna, go through how I get ready to go, and then some during the trip and different things. But the next video will be on travel, but I did want to cover this so that you all would know how I get my O2. And once you get used to it, I will say it took me a while to get used to it, but now that I've gotten used to it, my husband and I are used to the routine with it. At first it was so overwhelming, and now I don't even give it a second thought. I mean, me and him are in and out all the time. Wherever we need to go, we grab what we need, and we are out of here. So, and I also have to say that since getting it, I am so much more able to get around and do things without being exhausted, that I'm doing well with it. I'm happy with it, and so much more of my health has gotten better since being on oxygen that I am actually so thankful for it right now. And I hope I got to everything, and if anybody has any questions, please feel free to comment at the bottom. I will be happy to answer anything that I can. Thanks again for watching. Remember to keep living well, even if you have COPD or PAH or whatever challenges you're facing. Just remember to keep living the best you can every day, and I look forward to the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks again.